I'm Al Bledsoe, and we're back again with another session of Proudly We Served. And as always, we always go around and everybody introduce themselves. My name's Al Bledsoe, Veterans of Foreign War, Post 1108.
I'm Ron Chappell. I'm the chaplain for Veterans, Vietnam Veterans Post 777 and a member of 1108 and co-host here with Al.
And I'm Dennis Hicks. I'm the Registrar at Indiana University East, and I'm a retired Navy warrant officer.
All right.
Well, we're glad to have Dennis here this morning. I do have to make a couple announcements I think everyone needs to know, and that is the main thing is don't forget to vote. I believe that's on November 3rd.
Yeah.
And always remember to vote. If you aren't registered, I think you can still register, if I'm right. November the 7th is the Veterans Parade. That starts at 12 o'clock. That's right by Central Methodist Church, right there, 16th and Main's about where it starts. And then on the 11th month, 11th day and 11th hour, of course, we celebrate Veterans Day. And we will be having a get-together at Veterans Park, and that'll be 11 o'clock November the 11th. The parade's November the 7th. That starts at 12, and don't forget to vote. So those are a few things that are on the table that are important things to do. There's another thing we should bring up, and that is that we do run a van every day to Dayton. If there are any veterans out there that need help, need a drive, if they'll just call the station here or call Ron or myself. I think our numbers are on file here. We'll be sure that you get to Dayton, and they leave, I think, about 8 or 8:30, but if you call, someone will help you. Thank you very much. And without any more to do, let's talk to our guest. And Dennis, tell us about
you,
Dennis Hicks.
Where did you come from in terms of military experience and all that?
Well, let's see, from the military, you know, I grew up in a little southeastern town in Ohio, and like a lot of my friends, followed them off to college and spent 2 years at Ohio State. And as I was joking with you before this segment, my academic advisor after my second year of college suggested military might be the way for me to go.
Okay.
Okay. Not quite sure what that meant at the time, but I
wanted to get rid of it. That's what
I took their advice, and I joined the Navy in 1978. And spent 8 years on active duty.
All right.
So 1986, I got off active duty, but transitioned immediately into the reserves. Spent the next 12 years as a drilling reservist down in the Gulf Coast states, mainly Louisiana, and continued to move up the ranks. Got my degree at the University of New Orleans, and that allowed me to get my officer's commission, so that by 1998, I had my 20 years, and I was retired as a chief warrant officer.
Now, did you get your education while you were serving, in either of those capacities, your full-time or in your reserve capacity?
Got my associate's degree while I was on active duty, and then when I got off active duty and transitioned to the reserves, then I enrolled at the University of New Orleans. Got my bachelor's degree as a reservist, and my master's degree as a reservist. So when I talk about military students here at IU East, I can relate to them both from having worked on a degree while I was on active duty and then working on a degree as a reservist and seeing it through to the end, and then watching how that degree helped me both in promotion from a military standpoint and then, of course, from my civilian job. So, I have a real heart for the military students.
I did my undergraduate work while I was on active duty, and the program, I forget what it was called, but they paid like 75, 80% of the cost of the courses. And then when I retired, then my veterans benefits kicked in. And did everything else based on that. And
then, Al, you were in the Civil War, so that was probably, I'm not sure we had GI benefits back then.
That's why he was in the Navy.
That's right.
All these accolades that he just went over, forget he said it. It's not true.
I've known Al for years, so I'll pay for that later, I'm sure.
Dennis and I go back a long ways, and he's certainly done very well and does military people proud to have a person like you representing them, and they know that I think that there's a comfort level when a military guy's dealing with another military guy.
It is.
There's a comfort zone there that automatically I think they feel, and I think you've done that, and you've done a good job, and you stand tall
Can't tell you how
physically stand tall.
Can't tell you how many times a parent or a student has come into the registrar's office demanding to see the registrar. And they walk in and they start to look at all the military things hanging on the wall, and they make that connection.
Yeah,
they make that connection.
That's
Sure.
exactly right.
So, yeah. So did that, now your personal experience, is that what kind of motivated or encouraged you towards the capacity that you serve in right now, or?
Well, my wife at the time when I got off active duty, she was a school teacher, and I thought I always wanted to be a school teacher. So I wanted to get into education.
Okay.
My background in the military was in personnel administration.
Okay.
So I wanted to tie education and administration together.
Makes sense.
And here we are all these years later, and it morphed into getting into college administration. Doors opened up for me at the University of New Orleans, where I was able to serve as their associate registrar. And from there I went on to LSU, to one of their branch campuses as a director of admissions and registrar. And then in 1998, moved the family up here to Richmond, and I've been here at IU East since 1998 now as the registrar.
What brought you to Richmond? Was it the
Family.
job or a family?
Family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you see a lot of military people coming through that enroll at IU? And that's the next generation, realistically. We have to look at that.
Interesting. I was looking at numbers. I love stats and brought a lot of them here with me.
The military, of course.
Military.
We love stats.
Right now, Al,
Now, don't get too detailed. I can't handle a lot of detail. Get it over with.
Al, right now, the total enrollment at IU East is 4,716 students. Highest enrollment in the history of IU East.
Amazing.
But from last fall to this fall, that represented a 3% gain in enrollment. Now, I say that because you asked me about the military. From last fall to this fall, total enrollment gained by 3%. But during that same period of time, military enrollment went up by 18%.
My God.
My goodness.
18%.
Wow.
Veteran students now number almost 250 students at the IU East and make up a little over 5% of our enrollment. I mean, so, it's by far probably the certainly not the largest segment of our student body, but one of the fastest growing segments of the student body.
Now, does IU offer credit for military service in the program?
Yes, they sure do.
So let's take us through this. How does it happen?
Okay.
How do I?
All right.
I'm just out of the service. I'm looking for.
So you're interested in enrolling at IU East.
I want to go to IU East.
You want to go to IU East.
Yeah.
Well, it's really neat because if I take you through that enrollment cycle from admissions all the way through commencement, one of the things I'm real proud of is that every single one of our offices generally has somebody there that specializes or caters to that military person. So in admissions, we have a number of directors or assistant directors of admissions, wonderful staff there, they do a great job. Lori Current, if somebody calls and says, we have a gentleman in the military is interested in enrolling at IU East, they'll put them in touch with Lori Current, and she's got nice flyers that she takes. I was just talking to Lori the other day, and she was telling me that she'll go to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. We've sent a team down to Camp Atterbury. She'll attend big get-togethers in Indianapolis where it might be at the fairgrounds in a large facility, and it'll be a college fair and a job fair catered towards the military. So our admissions staff is very in tune in reaching out to the military, but when a military member reaches out to us, we're ready to cater to them. And one of the questions that they will always ask is, will I get any credit for my military service?
Absolutely.
We have a lady on the staff in the admissions office that will say to that individual, send me your DD-214, send me all your military certificates, let me take a look at that.
Yeah.
And now the military, they've got transcripts. If you spend time in the Army, they'll take all of your coursework and put it on a transcript for you.
That's what.
And they can send that transcript to IU East.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but yes, we've got a transcript specialist who will sit there and say, here's what you did, boot camp. We ought to be able to get you some We ought to get you some stuff for booty. Now it does get kind of funny though if you're a torpedo tech. Yeah. If you were a torpedo man and you're wanting nursing credits, that makes it a little bit tough. But no, to answer your question, we do everything we can to maximize the number of credits that you're going to get onto your IUE's transcript based on your military background.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's wonderful.
I remember back,
That's a good
I
program.
attended the Defense Department Equal Opportunity Management Institute. That was a master's levels course, and I got those credits when I enrolled at Wayne State University in Michigan. They transferred them over.
So now we've got you admitted.
Yeah, yeah.
Got you admitted. You figured out what program you wanted.
Yeah.
The next question that somebody always asks is, well, how am I going to pay for this?
Yeah.
How am I going to pay?
Big question.
Yeah,
Right?
big question.
Big question.
And will the military help? What's available to me? Now, my role as a military liaison officer on campus is a lot of times individuals have these questions and they'll bring the individual to me. So they may have brought you to me, and I know to take you to admissions and introduce you to Lori and introduce you to Sonny, and Sonny's our transfer credit specialist. Now I'm going to take you down the hallway to financial aid, and I'm going to introduce you to Tim Feening. And Tim is our Veterans Benefits Coordinator. You're going to sit down with Tim, and he's going to interview you about your military background, look at that DD 214. And I've got a whole section here on nothing but VA benefits.
Wow.
The post 9/11 GI Bill, which could provide up to 36 months of educational benefits based on how many years of active duty you had.
Right.
And if that doesn't pay all of your cost, then we've got a yellow ribbon program that says, well, maybe we can help make up the difference. And in the yellow ribbon program, IUE says, well, we'll contribute another $1,500 to help you.
Wow.
To see if we
School
can't make
does?
The school
yes.
does a whole
And for every dollar that we'll put into the yellow ribbon program, the VA says, well, we'll match that. So, guys, I'm telling you.
There's no reason.
So you guys getting out, there's no reason
I
why
tell
that
the
they
military
shouldn't
people all the time,
try.
there's no reason. Whether you're coming off active duty, whether you're in the reserves, maybe you're still in the Guard, there are so many VA benefit programs. And then there are Indiana programs. If you're a Purple Heart recipient, you know, there's benefits there, not only for the military member, but for their dependents, their sons, their daughters, their spouse.
Wow.
It blows me away when I look and I see all the benefits that are available either through the VA, through the state, through our own financial aid office. I mean, our financial aid office paid out over $23 million last year in financial aid to students.
Wow.
So the money's there. You know, again, it depends on how much military service that you had, what your status was.
Right.
You know, a lot of times it does make a difference. You know, a person, and you guys know this being ex-military, you know, that DD 214 says honorable discharge. That opens up a lot of doors for you. Yeah. So, yeah, there's no excuse. So now we got you admitted.
Right.
We helped you with your money situation.
Right.
You know, and now it's on you to get in there and study. But you know, we've got tutorial services available. We've got math labs, reading labs, supplemental instructors, which are fellow students that you can go to after your class, and these students help you. I told my children when they came to IU East, I said, you've got to work a whole lot harder to flunk out of here. I mean, if you just if you make yourself available to the services that are here on our campus, and that we make even available to our online students, Al, there's just no reason.
The veterans that come through, Dennis, do you see many of them that are kind of damaged a little bit from the wars they've been in, maybe Afghanistan, and you know, that's something that's very close to me, is that PTSD business, and this program at IU just seems like a wonderful escape if they're willing to do it, or if they can do it.
You know, we're real blessed because you know, about a year or so ago, and I'm not sure if it's a year, and I don't want to shortchange the gentleman how long he's been here, but we have a gentleman on staff. His name is Patrick Chimenti, and Patrick works in the Center for Health Promotions here on the East Campus. He is a licensed professional counselor, social work counselor, and he specializes in military transition.
Wow.
Patrick, before he came here, used to serve. He was embedded into military units as a civilian.
Right.
And he helps the military members make that transition from the military life to the civilian life, from the civilian life to the educational field. And so Patrick is available on our campus to sit and meet with them if they have any, we call them mental health issues, but sometimes, Al, they just need someone to sit down and talk to.
Right, exactly right.
Yeah, and and then my job in the registrar's office is just to help them. Once they've become a student, their student records become part of my domain.
Right.
And one of the things that comes up is we've got so many students on this campus who are still in the Guard. What happens to them when they get recalled to active duty?
Oh yeah. Big
question.
Especially if it disrupts the.
Well, they're in the middle of a
term.
semester,
Right.
gentlemen. Middle of a semester.
Yeah. How's that work?
Well, I'm glad you asked. How was that for a segment? Did I set you up?
Yeah, set me up. Okay.
It's not my first rodeo.
It's been a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've been practicing for days to set you up for that one. So we're in the middle of a semester. Young man or young lady gets orders to be recalled to active duty. They didn't ask for it. It just happened.
Sure.
Okay? And maybe it's an emergency. Maybe they're responding to a hurricane on the East Coast. It doesn't always have to be being sent to Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever. But for whatever reason, they're recalled to active duty. Well, IU has a policy that if they will just simply send me their orders, bring their orders into me if they can. But gentlemen, I've been recalled to active duty. Sometimes when you get recalled to active duty, you've got 48 hours to pack that sea bag and go. You don't have time to be running your orders over to the registrar at IU East. So we'll let a family member bring them into us. However they can get those orders to me, get them to me, with a note that says, Mr. Hicks, I want to exercise one of 3 options. And here we go. Doesn't matter what point in the semester they get recalled to active duty. If that student says, I don't know how long it'll be before I get back here, can you just withdraw me from all my classes? And we say yes. Then they'll say, well, will I get any money back? So, young man, you're going to get 100% back.
Oh, God.
Wow.
That's great.
If you choose that option,
That's good.
if you choose that option to withdraw from all your classes due to your military service recalling you to active duty, we'll refund 100%.
That's awesome.
But depending on how late it is in the semester, I may talk to them and say, well, wait a minute, instead of dropping all your classes, why don't we talk to your professors and see if they won't just go ahead and assign you what we call an incomplete. They're going to put a placeholder on your transcript, on your grade. It's called an I grade. It just says the coursework's incomplete. You were passing your coursework, and through no fault of your own, you had to leave. We're going to give you an extended period of time, up to a year, to finish that coursework. Boy, sometimes they light up and they say, well, how am I going to finish that coursework? I'm going to be deployed. What they don't realize is that when they get over there, most of those deployed stations, even Afghanistan, Iraq, some of those places, will have tents set up for them to be able to go in, hook up to a laptop, and finish their coursework.
Shut up.
We have
Why
had,
am I surprised?
Amazing.
We have had active duty students from IU East finish their coursework while they're deployed. So that's an option to them. Again, if it's real late in the semester, the professor may just say, you know what, I'm prepared to award you a grade right now. So they can drop all their classes, get 100%.
Right.
They can work with the professors just to say, give me an extended period of time and I'll finish the coursework. Or the professor may just say, I'm prepared to assign you a grade.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And then what we do is we set up their record, kind of put them in a leave of absence category, so that when they come back from active duty, all they got to do is come back into my office, say, hey, glad to see you back. Show me their DD 214 or whatever they might have released from active duty. We're going to reactivate them and get them right back into the system.
I had no idea that IU East is that friendly.
I didn't either.
Had no clue.
Not a clue.
No clue.
That is awesome.
You know, I'd like
That word needs to get out there. I mean,
you know,
that's
I'd like
why
to
we're here.
You know, I'd like to say that this was unique to IU East, but you know that wouldn't be fair because colleges and universities across America have really stepped up to do what they've got to do to take care of our military. Indiana University as a whole has stepped up to do what we've got to do. But we're here today to talk about the Richmond area, the greater Richmond area, East Central Indiana, West Central Ohio, which is really, you know, our base for IU East.
Sure.
And so, you know, I'm just, you know, if I sound like I'm pro IU East, well, that's
okay.
We're talking about what do we do here.
That's what we're here for.
And, you know, Al, there's another segment of students that sometimes get overlooked, and that's our online students. We've got students now in 35 states. We think of IU East as just being the greater Richmond area. Oh, we've got students from almost every county in Indiana, 35 states in the United States, and 11 countries around the world.
Oh my.
And a lot of them are military.
Right.
Because we've got 249 military students. They're all not right here on our campus.
Right.
Some of them are serving all over this globe.
Europe, places,
all over the globe.
Yeah. So if I was in Europe, and I'm sure they probably don't get a chance to see this, but maybe family members could convey it. If I was in Germany or something and I wanted to attend, maybe I'm looking at a year getting out, and I want to start school. And I said, well, heck, I'm going to go to IU East when I get home. Can I start online in Europe and then finish when I get back?
We've got 11 online degrees. 11 degrees that folks can complete online here. We've got 6 master's degrees as well. Now, they're not all online, but to answer your specific question of, yes, we have people contact us all the time, both civilian and military from all around the world. You may have just seen not too long ago in the news that Venus Williams, the professional tennis player, graduated from IU East. She came to IU East to accept her diploma. It was a wonderful little ceremony that we had for her. But bless her heart, she had never been to our campus prior to getting her diploma. Not because she didn't want to, but because of her professional career. And if we relate that to a military member, they could be all around the world.
Sure.
Never get an opportunity to step foot on our campus, but yet earn a degree from IU East through our online programs. So yes, on our website, all of these, every single question you gentlemen have asked me, we have a website, the IUE, it's IUE edu, and at the bottom of it, where it says Info for, they'll click that and it says Info for Military and Veterans.
Wow.
We have an entire segment of our website devoted to answering all the questions for the military. How do I get admitted? How do I pay for this? How do I transition through my degree? What if I'm online, distance education? What if I get recalled to active duty?
Right.
Every topic we have talked about.
Wow. What about my wife? If she wants to go.
Well, of course your wife can go. Your wife will probably do better. Well, no.
She probably would.
Of course. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
So would she go to the same process?
She would go through the. She would go through the same process. And what benefits that she might get through VA, I'm going to leave that up to them.
Right.
But sometimes, the spouses and again, dependent children can get benefits. We've got disabled. You said you have a heart. You have a real heart for the disabled. We have disabled veterans who are getting benefits through VOC rehab. Children of disabled veterans benefits.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, gentlemen, I've talked a lot, so I don't know how we're doing here.
Yeah, I know. We're about 4 minutes left.
How are the veterans doing as far as your liaison, like with the VA and stuff? Does that happen pretty quick? Is that a stalled out affair, or does it happen relatively soon? With getting their funds and all that set up, is that a long process, or is it short, or is it?
I don't think it's a long process, Al. Now, I can't really answer specifically to that since I'm in the Registrar's office. But for our listeners, for our viewing audience, if they've got questions like that, and they come out to the campus, I'm going to take them to the Office of Financial Aid. I'm going to introduce them to the Veterans Benefits Coordinator, who's going to make sure that they're crossing all those T's, dotting all the I's, getting that paperwork submitted that needs to be submitted. I think I read somewhere on their website that if they do what they need to do within those deadlines, I'm thinking 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
That'd be quick for the VA.
Oh yeah.
Well, usually it takes him 6 weeks to make
if Tim's watching this segment, he passed out just now. I might have had that number wrong, but I'm thinking I read somewhere it was 4 weeks. It's
Get
not
the oxygen out.
IU East is just. We've got the people in place. We've got the resources in place to make this happen. Now, how much of it falls on the student? Well, it always does.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter if it's a military student or whatever.
Yeah.
There's always things they need to do, whether it's filling out the FAFSA, bringing in the DD-214, providing us with the documentation that we need. But, we've got enough people there in place that if they've got a question, we're going to answer it. As the liaison, I don't profess to know all the answers, but I try to know all the people on campus that I need to take them to.
One last question.
Yes.
Well, not last necessarily. We got a few minutes here, but how long between separation and the ability to apply? In other words, how long do I have to apply for?
Well, that's a good question. That actually is a good question because, you know, in addition to all those VA benefits, the state and federal government has passed some recent laws that allow us for, got to get this in real quick, non-residents. If we've got veterans who are non-residents, sometimes we can remit the non-resident portions of their fees through State Law 177 or Public Law 113. So if they'll provide us with their DD 214, and it answers that specific question. For some of those, it'll say, you need to do this within 12 months.
Okay.
You need to do this within 90 days of getting that to the university so that we can code your record. You're still going to be listed as a non-resident student, but we're taking care of the non-resident portion of your fee, so you're going to pay in-state tuition. We've even got a thing on the books, and this happens through our bursar's office, that if you get PCS orders, which our audience knows that, permanent change of station orders, and you get stationed in Indiana on active duty and enroll at IUEs, send us a copy of your PCS orders and we'll remit the non-resident portion of your fees.
It's
all right.
it's getting close to our time.
Hey, but
This has just been a.
I need to have you back again.
Yeah, we're going to have you back.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this because I think it has to be said. I had no idea
all this
that
was available.
IUE was that veteran friendly. I mean, I knew you.
If we do this again, Al, we'll get somebody in here from admissions and from financial aid, and we'll let the experts
We'll try to do
speak.
that
That's
again.
a great idea.
Yeah.
Excellent
With that,
idea.
we're going to close it out.
Yeah, what
and
a
we've
program.
just
That
really
was
had a
great.
good session here
Awesome.
with Dennis. And to you military guys that need some help with IU, all you've got to do is call their military office and there'll be someone there to help you. And we thank you very much for watching today. And with that, we'll sign off.
All right.